Another very close friend are here this afternoon. Alex didn't make it, unfortunately. Alex was diagnosed with leukemia. He suffered leukemia for about 2 years, underwent a bone marrow transplant, but unfortunately, after about 6 months, passed away. Michele has something to say to you about the association, but has what I think is an extremely important message for all of you. A message which is very much in line with what we are trying to impart to all of you through the IB diploma program. So, I'd like to
for your introduction.
I'll switch off the light for you, Michele, or is that all right like that?
What do you think?
It's okay. Can you see back there? If you need Michele to speak up, we do have the microphone ready also. Please.
I wouldn't switch it off otherwise.
Okay. Thank you very much.
So, hi everybody. Welcome to this presentation, which I promise will be both very short and very important for you. Let's start directly with today's agenda. The welcome and the closing message of today's presentation are closely linked together. They are the beginning, respectively, and the ending of a very famous sentence. A sentence which I hope you will remember and will help you in your future life. I will then tell you a story about Alex, my brother, and we will move from his personal life to the association he's created with leukemia. And so, let's start directly with the welcome message. Alex is a very lucky boy. He's lucky and thankful to God because he's learned the ability to always look at the bright side of things happening to him. Many things that happen in his unfortunately very short life, but everything he's learned from his experience he would like to share with you today here. This is the first part of the sentence, and what it means basically is that you will be able to reach everything you want to in your life. Some things will take some more time than others maybe, so what is important is that you start setting out your priorities and also adjusting them. So, let's go on with the presentation and see who is Alex. Alex is an ordinary boy, just be any of you sitting here today. He grows up in Milan, he's attending high school, and then decides to attend Bocconi University. In particular, the international class, where all the lessons are given in English, most of the exams, and the majority of his classmates are from abroad, pretty much like here. When he's just about to take his management major, Alex decides to take a holiday break. It's Easter, it's 2007, and some of the friends he's on holiday with are two twin brothers actually, and although they do not make it to be here today, they are the ones making this presentation possible, making the contact with Mrs. Barone, which I thank again for this possibility. And they decide to go to the Red Sea. These guys are from Egypt, so they host him over there. They have a fun and nice holiday, then they all come back, and Alex starts feeling really bad, high temperature, unbearable headaches. So he starts thinking, what the hell did I eat over there in Egypt to feel so bad? Doesn't understand. So finally he goes to a hospital, and there he gets the terrible news. Alex, you got leukemia, he's been told by the doctors. Alex doesn't even know very well at all what leukemia is, but when he's told that he's got very low probability of surviving, he's really, really afraid, he cries. And then he finds the strength to react to this and continue pushing his goals, which at that time were to continue giving exams, writing his final dissertation, his thesis, and of course also keeping in contact with other friends. Despite the situation implied being locked up in a room, there's a picture over there. It's done with the technique of the clones. Alex liked photography, as you can see from over there. But it shows you that he's confined in a very small room and isolated from the rest of the world. So what Alex has learned is summed up in these 3 points. Let me just go over them. Discipline and persistence. So you will always have to insist and pursuing your goal and adjusting them, even if people tell you you can't. Resilience. You will be able to get up faster and stronger after every fall, after every obstacle. Imagine how big was the obstacle for Alex, a life-threatening disease. And thirdly, and maybe most importantly, try and think of the obstacle itself not just as something negative, but as an opportunity as well. And do not sit and wait for the situation external to improve, but always try and understand what can be done today to improve your situation. This school, Sir James's, will provide you, and have already provided you to some extent, with all the necessary tools you will need in your life to continue success, personally and from a business point of view. There will be times, though, when you will have to face some hurdles, some obstacles, and you will need to find the strength, sometimes also on your own, to react to this situation. So Alex's obstacle has been one of life-threatening nature, and he's reacted not only giving lessons and exams, for example, via the internet, but also he thought of others. In the moment when he was the one most in need of help, he said, why don't I use my experience here as a patient to think of other people? And he found this association called Vita, Leukemia, and I will show you shortly what it is about. Alex, despite having chemotherapy, radiotherapy, and being locked up in this small room, he had this window on a corridor where people could at least go and talk to him via a microphone. As I said, not only keeps giving exams and writing dissertation, but he found, first of all, a Facebook group. Facebook was at the beginning, 2007. There were many, many very funny groups, and there still are. So I said, why don't I found this group where patients can interact with patients from all over the world. Leukemia is spread across the world. So I said, maybe I can create a support group, an act, where patients can interact and support each other morally, and also one giving experience to the other. I will show you on Facebook Live what I mean. Then he decides he cannot limit his action only to Facebook, and so he found a website which is translated into many, many languages, because he wants to get the latest information on leukemia, which is usually published in English, and have it reach all the countries in the world. And not only manages to keep in touch with his old friends, but also he's making many, many new ones. Volunteers also will start interacting into this website and offering their help, and also doctors, and learning from a patient's perspective, also them. Oh, sorry. So, just a minute talking about leukemia, because when Alex was diagnosed, he felt very angry himself for never wanting to understand a bit more what it is about. Does anyone want to try out a definition of leukemia? What is it? Max?
Blood cancer.
It's a blood cancer, correct. It's a blood cancer, and in particular, it's a cancer of the bone marrow, where the cells in your blood are produced, red cells, white cells, and platelets. In particular, when leukemia occurs, the bone marrow starts producing white cells that do not mature, so they cannot carry out their basic function, which is to defend your body. Plus, a side effect very important of leukemia is that this production of unhealthy white cells also outnumber the production of platelets and red cells. So the signs and symptoms that a leukemia patient will experience are a result of this deficiency in platelets and red cells. What is the cause of leukemia? I'm sorry, I cannot give you an answer now, because despite research has done incredible progress throughout the last years, as of today, the causes of leukemia remain unknown. There are just few risk factors which have been identified, meaning that your probability of contracting leukemia is higher, such as smoke, chronic exposure to some chemical substances, and also high levels of radiations. But despite this, most of the patients diagnosed with leukemia are not being exposed to any of these causes. Treatment options for leukemia include treatment options common to other types of cancer, as of chemotherapy and radiotherapy, and also transplant. I will not go into depth into what the transplant is or what chemotherapy is, because you will find everything on the website if you want to know more, explained easily and clearly from a patient perspective. Because this is the other idea of Alex. I want to explain it, I want to explain it in many languages of the world, and I want to explain it in a way that is understandable by people around the world. Not written by doctors, but by other patients. And finally, this is very important, leukemia is not contagious in every possible form or way, and it's not just about some unlucky children around the world. It affects every age range across the world. This is the website. I will show you to you. This is just a static slide. We got information on leukemia. This is a sentence by Alessandro. It is unfair that who is unaware of this dangerous killer remains ignorant. And this is the Facebook group. And who is involved, patients, remains alone. So I want to put together petition volunteers with people in need of help, patients. If it's possible, I will show you very quickly here this is the Facebook group. For example, Alison, she's from the UK. She's been diagnosed ALL, means acute lymphoblastic leukemia, when she was 18. And now, after a bone marrow transplant, she's better. So she says, I want to, and also Billy Ho down here, it says, I'm after a bone marrow transplant. If I can help anybody else who's just before bone marrow transplant, maybe I can explain you with my words what it's about. Don't be afraid. This is a cure for you. This is the beginning, just a Facebook group, no? On the discussions, here we got the group missions, which we will see also in the presentation. We want mainly to spread information and facts regarding leukemia, to raise awareness. And secondly, we'd like to identify the most reliable institution in each country to which donation can be made to support research and patient assistance, and point them out also for volunteers. Maybe some people would like to be a volunteer, but really they do not know where to start from. So here they are on the website, on the contacts, on the associations in the world. Here I clicked on the Spanish section. Here we have all the languages up here. And for example, if you get into the Spanish section, every link will be to a Spanish association, for example, for giving blood. Not to the Italian one or the American one. You go directly to another site in your language where you can understand and know more about, for example, giving blood. Here are some of the associations we've listed. And I know you are from all over the world, so one of the things you could help us with, if you want, is, for example, translating the website into some other language that we do not have. I don't know if you look up and do not see a language that you know, you could translate it. We would be glad to give you the chance to do so. And also, there's a list of organizations, and it's being updated. If you know some more, you can suggest them to us via email. I will give you all the contacts, and we can put them up on the website as well. We've got all kind of languages. This is, for example, in Arabic. You see on the right-hand side. And this just to show you, for example, see what is chemotherapy, and then it's written by Alex and other patients. And you will find also some pictures. What is bone marrow transplant? I said I not gone in depth on what it is, but for example, this is the final stage of the bone marrow transplant. It looks pretty much as a transfusion of blood. In reality, up there are some stem cells. It's not really blood. But this is what it's all about. And Alex is smiling, showing it's just this, so don't be afraid. You can go through it. Or for example, radiotherapy. He liked photography, so he started taking pictures of himself to show, you cannot see it very well, but the hand is red. So he's saying radiotherapy, the only effect that you will experience is just similar to a sunburn. So maybe, you know, it's just, it's not an unbearable ache you will experience. We also have, I'll show you shortly, a YouTube presentation website where we put videos by patients. She's a patient affected with leukemia, Sarah, here in Italy. We've done a presentation in Bocconi 2 months ago, so I put it on. And I will put also, with Mrs. Barone permission, this presentation. So let me go back to the presentation. Oh, here we got the Serbian, for example, another strange language. It's very important because when people Google a keyword, sometimes they Google it in their own language. So unless we have it in their own language, they just cannot get to any website where they can find the information. Oh, the Facebook group has reached 7,000 members. So it's a very large group, and members come from all over the world. So let's continue and finish with the presentation. Okay. So 5 W's. Leukemia, you've seen already on the website, is about spreading knowledge, identifying institution, and connecting patients, volunteers, and doctors, breaking down geographical and linguistic barriers that have no sense to exist nowadays. This is how we do it. The website and the Facebook group you're already familiar with. We also have a scholarship here in Milan for hematological research, and we also donate any kind of equipment that hospital might need. We have sports and music events to target and spread our message to all generations. And we do something very, very funny as well, almost every month in hospitals in Milan, which is clown therapy. I think you're familiar with it, Patch Adams. It means making the patient laugh and feel at ease. That is proven to help also the treatment itself. So, closing message. By now we should understand what is the message of Alex. Everything can be reached, even miracles. Limits will be where you will settle. How can you make a difference? You already know that education is not just about grades. And I'm not saying that they're not important, of course, but they're just a part of your education. Now could be the time for you to enrich also your social and ethical profile. So maybe if you're thinking about giving time and resources, I know you already do, but we have some other, a list of organizations that you can find all around the world to do that. You can find the one that most suits you. You will think of donating blood and bone marrow. You will qualify for the Italian law only when you're 18, I think, so you can still start looking at it. How does it work here? You can support, of course, the institution also financially and help in research. And lastly, I want all of you to check out the Facebook group, become a member, and read through it and see how many friends that maybe you're not aware of already have joined the group and are helping us. So this is the end. I hope it was, as promised, short and interesting for you. And I'd like to open it up to any questions you might have. I have here, maybe before you go, you can stop by little cards with our contacts, meaning email and these kind of things if you would like to know more or get in touch. And please.
Is it possible to get the wristband?
Sorry?
The wristband?
Yes, I have some with me. Yes, some with me. Yes, I'll show you.
Could I say something to the students?
Sure.
This is how Michele came about to our school. Hisham and Ahmed are two students who were at the Sir James from the age of 3. And this is the way, they're on the alumni list, but this is the way that they have kept in contact with us. And indeed, I feel very proud in saying that both boys, I mean, they used to send me silly every single day, as some of you do. But their mom, together with another father of the school, were the 2 parents who got this building for us. So I feel that we as the Sir James, have a bond with Hisham and Ahmed, a particular bond, and this is the way of them saying that we're still here. We would like to pass on messages to a message to the Sir James Henderson School, and I think that's beautiful. If you think this year you're in year 12, the year 13s you're moving on, but there are ways that you can keep in contact, as Michele said, you're forging your future at the moment, aren't you? Through all the tools that we are able to give you within the IB program. I think you're very lucky, and I say this over and over again, but now's the time. Make a choice. What do you really want to be? What your future is going to be? Think about the ethics, the implications there. And if you really feel that you can do something, even just joining Facebook, I think that would make a great impact on the rest of the community.
As I said, if you have some specific question, feel free to browse the website. Everything is plain and should be clear with links to on the association for even more information on leukemia or transplant of chemotherapy. If something more you want to know on the association, you can email us whenever or keep for you.
We do have some students who are interested in medicine, going into the medical field, so I feel this perhaps is also something quite inspiring.
Yes, very.
Don't you? Do you have any particular questions that obviously, I don't know which field you'd like to go into medicine, Tom?
General. But no. Very interesting. It's good to know new stuff and get new diseases so that you have a broader idea of what it's like.
Yeah. Doctors actually interact in the website because they both help patients when they ask a specific question, and they also receive help, as I was saying, because sometimes there are things that patients, seen from a patient perspective, can help the doctor as well. For example, these patients are exchanging tips on day-to-day life, on surviving in a hospital. It's really like kind of like a war. So things that the doctor they're not so concerned with. For example, having nausea. Of course, it's a side effect of chemotherapy, but the doctor is not a major thing. Of course, it's curing you from leukemia. But there are a few tips that, for example, if you take into account, will help you feeling better. So why not? So you can learn from other patients. So the support is not only moral, but also something that can help you day by day.
Are there any particular events that you organize throughout the year to raise money?
Which events?
Any particular events that you organize to raise money to raise awareness?
So we do an annual dinner, which we just had, to explain about what we've done this year and what are the plans for the future year. We got a happy hour as well, which is probably said. You will find information on the Facebook group if you look up. I think it's for 18th or no, when is it? December. Well, anyway, you can look it up on the website. And this is as well another chance for young people oriented, where you can go there and know more about what we're doing and participate. Just it's a happy hour, so it's really free and many people people. Then we do the clown therapy, and as well on the web, everything you will see on the website. So far we just been divided into groups, people keeping contact with the associations, people following patients, people doing educational meetings, and for example, as I said, as they come out, they will be on the website. So there are no fixed events apart from a couple of ones, because really the idea is that anyone can offer his help, resources, his talent, and bring up an idea to spread knowledge, and also have the associations raise funds for research. We are called Beat Leukemia and we want to beat it. So.
Miki?
Yes?
Do a large percentage of patients come from
Sorry?
Do a lot of people come from it, or is it?
Actually, no. Still, the majority of the patients that are diagnosed with leukemia will not make it. It depends a lot on the age range. It's proven that if you're children, higher response rates. Children meaning up to 15 years old maybe, and also very old people, more than 70, 80, also have a higher possibility of making it for a long number of years. And the age range, which is the more complicated, meaning that most of the people there, 80–90%, I cannot give you a number, we don't make it, is in the middle, so between 15, 20 and 50 maybe. So research has done a lot, many forms of leukemia. To make it simple, I call it leukemia, but there's many types of leukemia. It's divided into many types. So some are more curable than others, but there's acute leukemias and chronic leukemias, meaning stronger for a shorter period or lighter for a longer period. And there's a lot to do. What we've done so far is to manage to lengthen the life of many patients. This will reach. But unfortunately, as I said, my brother, a close friend of Marco, who's here with me today, her name is Chiara. From the diagnosis, they've been able to live up to 3 years. This was impossible. The type of leukemia that my brother had up until 5 years ago was deadly in 99% of the cases and in a few weeks, 2 weeks. Then they found his cure, and many patients I know with the same name, not many actually, some patients I know are still making it. They don't say they made it actually, because leukemia, as every type of cancer, it's really, really bad, can come back. It seems like you're healthy, you're back to your life, and then after years it can come back. But so far they're living at that time. Most of the people, unfortunately, they don't even make it in the long term. I was in Houston last week, but they have the largest hospital for leukemias, and they told me, you know, like the glass is half empty or half full. Anyway, we've done a lot, but there's still a lot to do. This is why we want to make a difference. Another famous sentence by Alex is, it doesn't matter how, where, or how much you can contribute. You will still make a difference. You don't have to be Anybody else?
Okay, thank you very, very much for coming in on behalf of all the 60 students there. I think there's a lot to think about there and lots of ways that you can help in a really positive way. So we're very grateful to you for giving up your time. Thank you.
If you students would like to take a little thing, the SOS are going off. Right, remember to sign out the catch booklet, please. Are you going to the Presentazione?